Hey everybody, it's me, Mario5514, and welcome back to another Splatoon Talk video. In this video, we're going to be looking back at some of the weapon kits from the Splatoon 1 era, specifically the semi-autos, or the weapons that had burst fire. In the previous video, we looked at the regular shooters and ranked them on their style and power, and we're going to do the same thing for the burst fire shooters. Anyway, let's get started. First up is the L3 nozzle nose with Disruptor and Echolocator. This is like a beginner weapon that I would say if you're learning to use burst fire shooters. But you also have Disruptor and Killer Whale with it. And Killer Whale is already 160p, which means it's one of the cheapest specials, or one of the specials with the cheapest points for special in the game. You also have light special depletion as well, so I think that kind of comprehends the L3's firing rate and its range as well. But you also have Disruptor. With Disruptor, it's its own sub-weapon that we see in Splatoon 1 that's different from Toxic Mist in Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 3. Disruptor is a sub-weapon you throw at your opponents, and it does not have the radius of where it landed like you see with the Toxic Mist. The Disruptor lands on someone, and if it does, it affects their movement speed, and it slowly depletes their ink for 5 seconds. So meaning that when they're slowed down, that gives you the advantage to go at them closer. You get to go at them closer and attack them faster with the Disruptor on them. You also have Killer Whale, which also helps with it as well. Power style wise, I mean, it's just a regular semi-auto, nothing to see here. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Power-wise, you have a very good kit for the L3 nozzle nose, so I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for a score of 15 out of 20. Next up is the L3 nozzle nose D with Burst Bomb and Kraken. And I know a lot of you are going to say, Kraken is broken, it's one of the best. And yeah, I can agree with you, it's one of the best. With the L3 nozzle nose D, having Burst Bomb and Kraken really makes it one of the best semi-autos to have Kraken on it. But you also have medium special depletion, which means you're going to lose 50% of your special weapon charge than with a weapon with light special depletion or heavy special depletion. With light special depletion, you only lose 25% of your charge. With heavy, you lose 75%, while with medium, you lose 50%. So you also have Kraken, which is 200p, and at that time, Kraken and Bubbler were the most commonly used specials in the Splatoon 1 era compared to Inkzooka and Inkstrike. Style-wise, it's the same thing as the regular model, but with the dolphin logo on the sides of the weapon, so it's still going to get a 7 out of 10. Power-wise, you have a very good weapon kit that comes with it. You have Burst Bomb, which is one of the best subs, and you have Kraken, which is very broken. So for its power kit, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 for a score of 16 out of 20. Next up is the H3 nozzle nose D with Suction Bomb and Echolocator. This is one of the first H3 models or weapons that we get to use in the Splatoon 1 era. You have a very good sub-weapon that you use to attack from a distance, and you also have Echolocator, which it's not very aggressive. It's more of a support-related special that gives you a free recon and gives you a free tank refill, which and the Echolocator is 200p. But you have light special depletion, so you have no trouble there. Style-wise, it's the same thing as the L3, but with an extended barrel and with increased damage. But it's still one of the better burst fire weapons in the game. I'm going to give it style an 8 out of 10. Power-wise, you have a Suction Bomb and Echolocator. I mean, you do have to use those. You have to use the Suction Bomb as closely as you can, or you can't just use it every single time, because the Suction Bomb will use up to like 70 to 80% of your ink tank. So you have to be mindful of when you use your Suction Bomb. But power-wise, it's a very solid kit. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 for a score of 15 out of 20. Next up is the H3 nozzle nose D with Point Sensor and Inkzooka. Now, aside from Inkzooka being 220p, it is one of the best specials in the game, but the only specials that define the Splatoon 1 era were Bubbler and Kraken, so Inkzooka is more on the aggressive side. But not only that, Inkzooka is very powerful, but it's 220p, Originally, it was 180p before an update nerfed Inkzuka's points for special from 180p to 220p. As I explained in the previous video, I think the devs were afraid that people would spam the Inkzuka like crazy, so they made it that you can only use it not very often, or not very much. I think according to ProChar, you can only get like 2 per game, so that's kind of painful. But I mean, with this weapon, you have light special depletion, so you're only going to lose 25% of your charge. Style-wise, the H3 Nozzle Nose D is the same thing as the regular model, but you just have the dolphin logo on the sides of it. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. It kind of gets boring after a while. Power-wise, you are heavily reliant on the Inkzuka with your main weapon. And not only that, point sensor, from what I heard, is a lot weaker in the Splatoon 1 era than what we see in the later games. But point sensor marks where your opponents are, so you won't miss where they are. So, I mean, that is one thing. But, I mean, you are relying on your main weapon and your Inkzuka more than your point sensor. But power, I'm still going to give it a 7 out of 10 for a score of 13 out of 20. Ouch. And finally is the H3 Nozzle Nose with Splash Wall and Bubbler. Now, a lot of you are going to say this is the best weapon. And I'm going to say this. It is one of the best semi-autos in the game, but best shooter has to be either the Tenatech Splatter Shot or the Wasabi Splatter Shot. But for the best of the semi-autos, it's a tie between the Cherry H3 Nozzle Nose D and the L3 Nozzle Nose D. But I mean, with this weapon, you have a 180p bubbler, and you have light special depletion, which makes it one of the best weapons of all time. According to ProChar, there were also 2 of these weapons in competitions. So this was like a widely used weapon that allows you to defend yourself with Splash Wall, and then Bubbler gives you the broken edge to go in and just be a pain in the butt. Style-wise, I like Cherry H3 Nozzle Nose look. I'm not going to lie. It's one of the better looks for the semi-autos in the Splatoon 1 era. So for its style, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Power-wise, yeah, Splash Wall and Bubbler, they go very well with it. And not only that, it's just a very powerful duo to give a semi-auto. But you also have light special depletion, which makes it even better. So for power, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 for a high score of 18 out of 20. And that's it. That is all of the weapons that we have. Thank you all for watching. If you guys liked the video, be sure you subscribe, and don't forget to leave a like on the video. If you want to see more videos like this, just send a comment below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. And until then, stay fresh.